Adam Sadda was born and raised in Darfur. When violence broke out in 2003, Adam and his family were part of those targeted, and they witnessed the mass genocide and suffering in Darfur firsthand. They escaped to live in the jungles of Western Darfur for 2 years before escaping to the neighboring country of Chad. In 2013, Adam was resettled in the United States, leaving his family behind in a refugee camp in Chad. Adam was determined to make the most of his new life in the United States. Currently, he's based in North Carolina, where he's pursuing a bachelor's degree at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I believe you just graduated though, Adam, is that not right? Congratulations, we're so proud of you. He was majoring in political science and economics with a concentration in human rights, hoping that he'll be able to utilize his education to make a positive impact inside his community and beyond. Adam is also very active in various advocacy organizations, including Refugee Congress, where he is a delegate. So thank you so much, Adam, and I'll leave it to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adam. I am so grateful to be here tonight to share my story with all of you. I would like to begin by thanking my great teachers, Dr. Laura and Basma, for their unwavering support and help to improve our public and storytelling skills and organizing this very special event. As Dr. Laura mentioned, I was born and raised in Darfur, a region in Western Sudan. My story began when the conflict erupted in 2003 and early 2004, when I was just a child. My family and I had to flee our homeland because of the genocide that was actually taking place in Darfur. That conflict actually resulted in the killing of over 300,000 innocent civilian people and millions of other people displaced because of that conflict, including my family. We spent several weeks, our months, trying to find a safe place to go. And during that time, we faced actually different, a lot of hardships, including lack of access to water, lack of access to food and shelters. It was actually very difficult actually journey to reach safely in the neighboring country, Chad, just like Yahya. We were lucky enough to make to the neighboring country, as many other families were unlucky enough to make it. The situation in Darfur in that time was a very dire, because the Janjaweed militia, backed and supported by Sudanese government at that time, was attacking and killing innocent civilians, including women, children, and burning down homes and villages as a matter of systematic termination and destruction of the entire region. The government of Sudan at that time used it to do that as part of policy of ethnic cleansing in the region. My family and I were lucky enough to make to escape to Chad, but many other families were not fortunate enough to, as I mentioned before, to make to safe locations. After arriving, after working actually, several days, my family and I, we eventually made to Chad, where we were received by UNHCR over there. And from that point, we just started, making the official procedures of moving to the official refugee camp in Western Chad, where so many, over 2,000, actually 2 million, over 2 million Darfurians are still located and living in a miserable situation. So that's the first part of my storytelling. And the second part is I'm going to talk about the current events that are taking place in Sudan. And that is, because that is very critical to the Sudanese history. I am very saddened to see the conflict is still taking place in Sudan. On April 15th, this year actually, last month, a deadly war broke out between the government forces and rapid support forces in the capital city, Khartoum. The war quickly, spread throughout the country, resulting in thousands of civilians dead and displacement, including in Darfur, where it actually initially started about two decades ago. The reason behind this special war is a matter of political, struggle and the conflict and the level of army leadership regarding the security and military reform process. These, differences eventually develop it and turn it into the crisis from a dispute over the, crisis, like over the personal dispute to, the conflict between, two, armed forces, which are the Sudanese military forces and the military forces that are called Janjaweed militia, the official name that used to call in Darfur, but now they are promoted to call rapid support forces. This militia was founded by former President Omar al-Bashir, who was overthrown in 2009 after decades of dictatorial, rule and mass destruction of the country. This militia is the same militia that was responsible for committing genocide in Darfur and crimes against humanity against the Darfurians. It is actually very distressful to see that innocent civilians are once again facing the same, tragedies and difficulties that they have been facing over the over 40 years. And that was my second part of storytelling. And when as Dr. Laura said, I moved to the US in 2013 as a refugee after spending over many years in the refugee camp. I was not actually resettled directly from refugee camp in Chad, but I used to live in Egypt, where I spent over two years waiting the immigration process to be ended and resettled to the US. When I initially met to America, I was frequently felt overwhelmed by the idea of refugee resettlement, enthusiastic about the life in a new country, and apprehensive and concerned by the reality of cultural shift, because everything was looking differently than where I was expecting. I was also aware of why I had leave my country. I had the opportunity to start new life in a new country, and I was grateful for that. Last week, as Dr. Laura mentioned, I graduated from a college with a degree in political science and economics, which would have not been possible without the support of my new community and the opportunities that are available for refugees from different countries with different backgrounds and experience. Being refugee was neither a personal choice for me nor a decision, but it was a result of unpredictable consequences that was, driving me to seek a refuge in a safe and better countries like America and some other Western countries, just like many other refugees, from different countries. Today, millions of refugees from around the world, facing the same crises and some hardships that I came through. Because of this uncertainty, now is the time, for solidarity and empathy, not closing our doors, closing our minds and hearts. We must stand together and as a global citizens and global society to overcome this intolerance and violence that is faced by so many people like me. And this is all I have for tonight, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Adam, for sharing that really powerful call to action, as well as your story. And thank you, everybody. I'm getting like emotional and touched because just thinking about where the class started and how hesitant everybody was, and now to see you all sharing